Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Take Two. Today, I'm really excited about this new guest. They're people that we've started to partner with, and he works for a company called OctoPerf, and it's in the area of load testing. Load testing is actually a very interesting area to be in now because what basically has been happening is everyone is like, oh, yay, I'm going to move from on premise to cloud. Oh, I don't need to test anything. Everyone tells me it's lift and shift, right? Ooh, I'll lift it and shift it over there. And then things don't work at all. And nobody knows why. And nobody cares to check why it might not work the same exact thing on premise as in the cloud. But of course, we would prefer to hear from our expert, Omar. So, where do you think most organizations get the whole notion of automated testing and performance testing wrong today? Um,
Hello, everyone, and perfect intro because that's basically what I'm going to say. Also, I think for your answer because there's been a lot of talks about shift left, shift left, shift left the past 10 to 15 years since DevOps, and so we really focused on automation as just the concept of automation. So it means that as long as it's automatic, it's good. We don't have to worry about it, and everything is fine. But that's not the truth, because even if you automated something, you still need to understand what was automated. You need to understand what's inside of it actually, and just not focus on the end results. Like, okay, a thumbs up. Okay, my application is good. The automation system said everything was okay. Let's go. But you need to like deep dive. Sometimes you need to check what you did earlier. So when you automate something, you have the tendency to never revisit your work. You say, okay, it
right.
was working at the beginning, so let's not focus on that. You need to revisit your work. You need to see it. Maybe you will find some mistakes you made because we are humans for now, but we still need to revisit what you've done and improve on it. So, I will say that's the main problem nowadays. Too much
Right.
automation, I would say.
So, what we always say when we present about automation is that it's like cyclical, right? You have to like
Mhm.
design, then automate, then monitor, and then redesign, right? Like after you finish automating,
Mhm.
you take a look at the results, check yourself, right? What could be done better? What was done wrong? Where could we make it more efficient? And then plug that into the design for the next phase. So I guess with load testing, it's pretty much the same. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, so we totally agree with that. Where people are kind of very excited to kind of get these automation tools, and then when they set them up, you know, they do one or two tests and and then think they're okay. But with all the innovation happening today, with AI and cloud and CI/CD, etc., um, do you feel the role of testing has you know changed, or is it one of these things that the more things change, it stays the same?
I mean, uh, with AI, it's very difficult to answer because, as you know, it's like changing every 6 months. We have a new
Right.
version of ChatGPT, new version of Claude, and everything changes. But let's say if things continue evolving as it is right now, I would say that the difference will be a bit like what functional testing experienced at the beginning and also what load testing experienced, which means that when we switch from totally manual to automated, we all thought, or company thought, that we could get rid of the testers. So like you could just have maybe developers, maybe anyone, or maybe nobody if it's automatic. And so we all thought that we will disappear, tester will disappear. But in fact, you can, well, I'm still there, and like, a lot of testers, they are still
Yeah.
there. Maybe less, I don't know, I don't have the numbers. Maybe they changed their way of working, but we still need people that understands that field that work on it. So in my opinion, as I said, AI will help with the manual labor that was tedious, just like developers are experiencing right now. Everything that was not interesting, just pure, dumb coding, I will say, will start disappearing. And then you'll be able to focus on what matters, which is
Right.
analyzing the results only. Maybe like sometimes innovating, maybe finding new ways of testing, analyzing, and so focusing on what's interesting. So that's, I think it's how it's evolving right now regarding AI.
Right. Yeah. So I see something very similar because you kind of have this shift where people used to spend, right? Your whole QA team would be responsible for logging in the Excel, looking at the tests, performing the tests, recording the data. And it's literally like the lowest, most granular part of the testing where they should be focusing on, what are the strategic use cases, right? What do we need to have working in order to prove that our application is going forward? And I feel like they had tons of test cases, but not agile test cases. Like they can't. I speak to people that they're like, oh, we have 472 tests in our Excel that we need to convert over. I said, you run 472 tests every time there's a patch, every time you move something to production. Do automated testing, you hope that people could focus more on, the like you said, the upper thought level, right? The creating the design flow, creating the function flow, and validating results, right? Creating ways to automatically validate the results. So that's very interesting.
And cloud. So of course we see more and more applications on the cloud. Just to answer on that part, I think that's maybe one of the main things that we saw is that people tend to care less about load performances because in their mind they have because in their mind, I've seen a lot of that, is that in their mind they have the cloud system and they have an auto scaling system. So they think that, okay, well, if we have a peak of users, automatically we will have new servers, so we don't need to worry about it. Yes, it seems funny, but I heard that a lot. Okay. And so that's also one issue that we need to maybe take care of or be worried about. Even though auto-scaling exists, you will still have performance issues. It's not only a matter of how many machines you have, in terms of performances. And also, maybe for now, the price of cloud computing is quite low, relatively low, but you never know how it will be in 5-10 years. Maybe it will be 2 times more expensive to have a cloud server. So you need to optimize your resources allocations. So
no, but most cloud servers do it, that if you have a package that gives you a certain amount of servers, if you go above that, the additional extra payment could be astronomical. So if you know in advance you need 3 servers versus you choose 2 servers and that third server is extra, the price differential is way more than the price of a testing tool. That's for sure. Yeah. So on the subject of price, I'm sure nowadays it's a little bit more complicated because there's all these freeware testing tools, JMeter, JUnit, where a lot of organizations, even large ones, are looking to kind of utilize these open source free tools to be able to do their testing. So what do you think really is the danger, the risk in going with an open source tool versus the advantage of purchasing a tool such as OctoPerf?
Well, I would say the danger of open source is that usually they tend to be very technical. So you need to have a lot of technical knowledge to be able to use it. And also sometimes they have an interface that is not that so great, not easily usable by everyone. And also open source solutions, if they don't have a big and huge community, it's difficult to get some support for them. Right. So I would say those are the disadvantages of open source solutions. So in our case, OctoPerf, we are based on an open source solution, but we offer a full integrated platform around it to let different kind of people being able to use it, even not technical ones, people from QA, people not even from QA, maybe on the business side. And so the goal is to make that field, so here load testing, available to everyone. And the support for me, I think, is quite important because you can have, when you pay for a tool, you are waiting for a specific level of service from the company. So you are expecting a real support customized to you. And that's not always the case with open source.
Well, this has been very interesting. I want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we've been doing some very interesting things actually with Oracle Forms, automated testing and functional testing, because a lot of the freeware don't necessarily support the Oracle Forms-based applications. So we're happy to provide, plugins to OctoPerf to be able to do that type of automation. So thank you so much for joining us today and for teaching us a little bit more about the automated testing world. And bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to like and share below. And we'll see you next time on Take Two.